And now we're recording. Hi guys, happy Wednesday. I'm ringing the metaphorical Rotary bell to get us started. Thank you guys for coming. Great work, great turnout tonight. We have a guest speaker tonight. Where did he run to? I'd like to look at Wayne Busch. Will be talking to us. There you go. Wayne Busch will be talking to us in a bit about his company. And I will get to his introduction in just a second. I just wanted to give you guys a couple of information points from the board meeting last week. How many times with glasses on? Last week. Let's get serious now. I wanted to give you guys a huge thank you for the 28 members who responded to the request for feedback on the 2 nominees for membership. That's a fantastic number of people. Thank you very much for that. We did get the nominees for secretary and director. If anybody did not put in a vote, I will give you until Friday this week to do so. If you need me to resend the email, I can do that as well. Or if you want to just email me directly, looking for a nominee for secretary and a nominee for the active director position that David vacated when everybody got promoted. Other than that, from a housekeeping standpoint, I want to let you guys know what our schedule looks like. So going forward, Uta, David, and I will be meeting on the first Wednesday of the month prior to the second Wednesday of the month, which is going to be the board meeting. At that board meeting, we will look through any nominees and any applications that we've gotten for membership. If we have approved one of those applications, they will go out to you guys in an email like we did this week. And I'll ask for you guys to give me feedback. And then on the 4th Friday, when we have the happy hour meeting, that's when we will present the new members to the club and make sure that they hopefully have their pins and stuff. If I get all my things done on time, they'll have their pins and their certificates and everything. So it might be real good for Deb to show up on the 4th Friday or 4th Wednesday this month, just saying. So, and Clark, I swear I spelled his name right in everything and it just got spell checked to Painter with an I, and I apologize. So that is all I have. Board members, is there anything that I missed that's pertinent that I need to get out? Oh, I do have one thing. I am currently short one public image committee chair. So if anybody is interested, I know that a few of you had volunteered to be on the public image committee, but if anybody would like to raise your hand to chair that committee, please let me know. You guys are very quiet tonight. I'm doing too much talking.
No, I thought I'd step in here.
Alrighty, so Mr. Busch, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce you. Wayne Busch is a lifetime motorcycle rider who lives in the highest mountains of Western North Carolina. For nearly 2 decades, he's been riding and enjoying the scenic and challenging roads of the Blue Ridge Mountains and makes his living producing motorcycle ride maps of the region. So without further ado, Mr. Busch from America Rides Maps.
Well, hello, everybody. It's great to meet you. And I'm going to say right up front, this is my first experience ever with Zoom. So I've been lucky to escape that curse so far during all this mess that's going on.
You have.
And yeah, I'm going to start off by, rather than being redundant and telling stories, I put together a little video that tells you a little bit about me and my company. And I'm going to go ahead and share the screen now and get that up. And it's about 5 minutes. It'll tell you pretty much all you need to know about me and what's going on up here and what I do. And afterwards, I'm really looking forward to taking some questions from y'all and answering any questions you have, and any way I can help you get up here and enjoy what I enjoy. So let's see if we get this screen share going. There we go.
Wayne, when the screen share pops up, there was a little button at the bottom to share your sound. Did you happen to click that?
I hope so. Let's see.
Okay, we'll see how it goes. If not, we can fix it.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
We should be good. And let me maximize this and we'll get the video going.
There are more great motorcycle roads in the Blue Ridge and Smoky Mountains than anywhere else. Each year, millions of riders flock to the Blue Ridge Mountains to escape the summer heat, savor the spectacular fall colors, and most of all, enjoy the scenic and challenging back roads that weave throughout these mountains. My name is Wayne Busch, and I live in the heart of of this great riding area. I've made it my business to find these roads and share them with other motorcyclists through a series of ride maps that stretch from North Georgia to North Virginia. I didn't set out to be a map maker. It all started when a few hotels asked me to lead groups on rides. I would make up simple maps for the riders so they'd have a record of where they went, and just in case something happened to me on a ride, they would be able to find their way back home. I was also constantly looking for new places to ride, and the existing maps just weren't very thorough. The best of the area covered 6 states, as if I was going to go out and ride 3 states over, when so many good roads lay nearby. I also found these existing maps difficult to use, hard to read, and simply not practical when used on a motorcycle. They just didn't work for me. I wanted maps that were simple to fold, easy to read, and small enough to fit in a pocket so they were handy. I ultimately decided leading group rides was far more work than it was worth, but those hotels and businesses continued to ask for maps. It got to the point where I started asking a few dollars for them. The volume kept growing, and it became a part-time business. I moved to selling them online, and things have grown to full-time since. I now produce a whole series of maps, 12 of which cover the paved roads in the area. Another 4 cover the best of the unpaved roads. I also have 2 large regional maps, which cover the Smoky Mountains and the North Georgia area. The thing that sets America Rides maps apart from other motorcycle road maps is I focus on function, not style. A map can be a beautiful work of art, fine detail, topographic shading, and a broad use of the color palette. I find maps like this extremely hard to read. The text is too small, the colors all run together. It's hard just to see the roads, let alone the road names or numbers. Most other maps are too large. Again, this makes them hard to read, especially when it's windy, a pain to fold, and they're too bulky to keep handy for a quick look. A simple presentation with large text in a size that fits right in your pocket is far more useful than a big map stored at the bottom of your saddlebag. For more than a decade, I've been exploring the Appalachian Mountains, searching out the great roads from the seat of my motorcycle. I ride them all, often in both directions, and revisit them periodically to update the information and ensure they are accurate. I've cataloged more than 1,000 of them, which I highlight in red and show you the best roads to connect them together in blue. You need only keep to the colored roads to ensure you are always riding the best there is. Since I was too often frustrated after spending a couple minutes studying a map only to find I was actually on the reverse side of it, I designed my maps to be single-sided. On the reverse side of my maps, you'll find brief road descriptions to help you choose between them all, and guides to roadside water pulses. I include out-of-the-way gas stations, motorcycle-friendly locations, and the best places to stay and eat on your travels, as well as points of interest like covered bridges and scenic overlooks. You can find America Rides Maps online at americaridesmaps.com. I mail every day, often twice a day when I'm not out on mapping trips. You can also see sights from the road and updates on our America Rides Maps Facebook page, which currently has more than 180,000 followers. You'll find my personal cell number on every map, and I'm happy to offer you advice on your travels. America Ride Maps are the most comprehensive and detailed motorcycle ride maps you'll find of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Hop over to the website. Be sure to look at the discount bundles and packages for savings on your map order. If I can be of help, just shoot me an email or a quick call. Now, go check out America Rides maps right now.
And so there it is. I think I'm back. I hope I'm back. Hello?
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
You are indeed back.
We were all muted.
Thanks. So if you have any questions about the area, about the riding up here, what I do, anything, I'm open. Please go.
Obviously, Wayne, you need to hire some people like us to help you patrol all those routes. It's a lot of miles, right?
Well, yeah. It's a struggle just to keep me going, let alone bring on others. Although
Yeah.
I do actually have a partner that works out of, he's up near Washington, D.C. And we have a project that's been in the work now for over 4 years that's going to move us into the digital realm of things. So it's coming along. So there are actually 2 of us back here. And then, of course, my wife also helps out a good bit.
It's a good thing. Now, I was just digging around in my closet because I've got all these paper maps that from my friends have been riding over there, and the laminated one. And there's one we really liked from Cherokee County Cycles. And, it's a big thing. But I got this, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. So it's probably a little stale.
Maybe.
Get the little regional things on the back. So yeah, I have to take a look at your work. And if we didn't have local scouts, we'd be wasting a lot of time there.
Well, I go into it with other people tend to focus on the well-known rides, the most popular ones, the ones you've heard about. I take a different approach, whereas I go in an area and I literally go through every road in the area looking for what is there and what hasn't been found. And one of the things that really got me kicked off to this was when I first came up here, back in 2003 or so, I started going to local events, and I'd be talking to the people there over in Maggie Valley and things like that. They have big rallies and stuff like that. And they say, hey, where you been riding? Have you been here? Have you been there? And I was finding local people that didn't know there was stuff right down the road from them that they had just been riding back, past for years and years. And it's surprising the number of roads that are around here. I have traveled all over the country. I love riding Colorado, California, the Southwest. I've been through Europe, Germany, Italy, Austria, the Swiss Alps. We just got back from Ireland last year, England, Wales. There's nothing that compares the amount of roads that are up here that are so good and such great rides.
I live out in Bay Area, California. I was thinking when it said best rides in the country, it's like, I don't know.
I love
some good
it
stuff in Northern Cal.
I love it. My wife had an office in Santa Barbara for a while, and she would be out there for a week or so, and I'd come out, fly out and rent a bike and spend 3 or 4 days riding. So I rode all over the central part of the state and a little bit of the north. I still haven't hit the south, but I love it out there. It's wonderful. The difference between here and there is there is usually a commute between roads up there. You got to get on the 5. You got to go out, somewhere. There's something in between. You have to get to them. What's nice about up here is the roads connect. And that's what I do is I go out and I look for a way. I don't just find those great roads, but I look for those ways to connect them together. Because there's always a way to get to the next road, but there's also a best way to get to the next road. And that's what I look for and tie them all together. So you can just hop from road to road to road to road to road and never worry about getting on a 4-lane road or any kind of major road at all, or you can go around the towns. I just like to ride. That's all I want to do is be riding. I don't want to be commuting. I don't want to be out on the highway.
And you're on a GS, right?
I am currently on a GSA.
GSA, yeah.
Yeah?
GSA. The windshield shape showed it to me, and I just, Uta and I've been going back and forth about that. I just picked up my first GS, a 1200, it's an 07 model. And I'm kind of doing some work with it. So the fact that you do some dirt stuff, some dual sport rides, that's something that's interesting to me because my group of buddies, I live out in the Bay Area, California. My group of buddies back in Tennessee, they've begun adding a dual sport component or an ADV component to the rides out there.
That is probably the largest growing segment of my market is the off-road stuff. It's surprising. Right now, I don't know why, but the sales of off-road motorcycles seems to be exploding. And the maps that I've done are just, they are selling as good or better than the paved road stuff. And in fact, speaking of the GS off-road, I just got back a week ago. I was out in Colorado. We ran the hardest part of the Colorado BDR 5-day tour through the high mountains out there. All of it I did on a GSA, and it was just a blast. It's amazing where those bikes will go.
Yeah.
Okay, can I show you something? What I was dealing with it since I'm in Texas since now 8 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Like that. Okay. Very small, right? And here, how can you find something on this map? You know, when you don't even
Those straight
know where
lines.
to go. You know.
Yes.
So it's horrible for me. So I was waiting for something like that, you know. I know that from Germany, from every little area, you can have smaller maps and you can use it however you want it. But in America, nothing. I found nothing. So thank you for that. I'm really amazed.
Absolutely. And there's some great stuff out in Texas. I've ridden some of it. There's a lot out there.
You're right, Deb?
Oh yeah, probably the most memorable trip. We went down a road off-road through Big Bend area, all the way down to Rio Grande, and had a great time down there. I've ridden a number of the paved roads as well out there. Now, I alluded I do have a partner, and we are working on a digital product which was supposed to be released by now, but that's been that way for a while. But it covers nationwide. In fact, it expands worldwide, and we do have stuff on Texas that will be coming in that. So stay in touch.
Do you know Kalimoto?
Yes, I've heard of Kalimoto. I don't know them, but I've heard of them, yes.
I think they will help you with your planning for your, routes nationwide electronically.
It's coming. We've got a system where the users will be building the system themselves.
Oh, that's cool. But
Yes,
they make the same with Kalimoto, by the way. So Kalimoto also let you share with other people the route they was going, So you can do that too.
It's all about the ability to share the rides, to be able to organize the rides and pull them together. We have some things for actually while you're doing the rides that are pretty advanced. And then we're also, we like to get them out there share them with our friends, get them on Facebook, get them in our blogs and whatsoever. We've got a whole system coming that's going to deal with that. But I don't want to say too much about it because it's almost ready, but not quite.
And it's easier than Garmin, I hope, Basecamp, right?
Our inside joke is it's Garmin that works.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. We literally have a feature built in that you can take routes out of Garmin, pop them into our stuff. It straightens it all out for you, and then it'll work in anything from your GPS to your phone, whatever. So we have a converter that Garmin has a few hitches. They're a good company. I use them all the time. Love them. I subscribe to them. But the future of navigation on the motorcycle is not necessarily the GPS. It's going to move to the phone.
Really?
Absolutely.
Because you have it everywhere, with you. So
exactly.
And honestly, you only have to. Garmin have it on the other way as well. I have an app on my phone. It's called Garmin, and they use your hardware, so your phone, to install only the navigation system. And I think this is pretty much the same then, right?
Similar.
The idea.
Yes, absolutely. The biggest hurdle to overcome with the cell phones was what do you do when you don't have service?
Yes.
And we've solved that problem a couple of years ago. So now we're literally putting the polish on the maps and getting the user interfaces and things done. So please stay tuned. That's coming. But my bread and butter is the printed maps. The not paper anymore. Everything's high quality synthetics, and I'm not even sure what these things are made out of anymore, but they're practically indestructible. That's one of my biggest failures is I have people who have had maps for 10 years and they're still using them just fine. I just throw mine in the bike and they last. They hold, they don't wear out. So quality is worth it.
Sounds great for me.
I mean, I've got a question for you. Have you done a stack up of what you're doing compared to everything else out there in the apps world? Because right now I'm looking at a group of apps on my phone, and there's Greatest Roads, there's Reaver, there's the Roadrunner magazine thing. Theirs is like too damn expensive what they want to do for maps, although they're a good magazine.
Oh yeah,
Two
I know
Wheels,
that. I've
there's
seen their stuff. I know Florian and the developers fairly well.
yeah, they spoke to the magazine founder, the owner, spoke to our club several months ago. And there's Eat Sleep Ride, there's Scenic, there's Motor Ride, there's the BMW MOA thing. So there's a lot of stuff out there, and I think depending on what you've looked at for competitive intelligence, you find some interesting things that work or don't.
I probably have a list of probably 60 or so apps that we've reviewed. Now, all of them do one thing or two things really well. That's their key, is they do this well, but they may not do something else quite as well, or somebody does it better. We've been trying to pull things together to where we can be comprehensive enough that we can do most everything, maybe not perfect, but good enough that it'll cover all the bases. That's been a challenge, and it's been, my developer has been working on it now for almost 8 years. So it's coming together. It's coming together.
I've got one entertaining idea I haven't seen anywhere, but for guys like me, it'd come in handy. I don't know how many of your customers do group rides, but if I'm riding with a group and they went someplace else, I missed a turn, it'd be, how do I find my group again?
One of the things that we've built in is a system that tags every rider in the group. You can literally see on the map where every single person is.
Wow.
That's going to be a game changer right there. So I'm looking forward to that. And
you can use us as a test group, so we will test that, right, Scott?
Especially Indian John, because Indian John has a troubled relationship with GPS.
Honestly, I do too. I mean, I forced myself to do the last few big trips I've done by GPS, and there's always a glitch, a hitch, something. You're constantly resetting them. They can be a challenge. They really can be, but I don't know. We'll see. I wish I could say more. My developer is literally so close. He won't show me what's going on until it's final product. He wants that. I want you to see it done, and I want you to see it work. So I wish I could say more, but it's been a little while since I've seen what he's working on. He's keeping it close to his chest.
Well, it all sounds very interesting. I have a 2006 BMW K1200 LT, and last week it got a new rebuilt radio in it with Bluetooth. So all of a sudden I'm modern, and I'm using Waze for navigation via Bluetooth, and I have Sirius XM on my phone, and I can get both my Sirius XM streaming and Waze on the screen at the same time. And
yep, you and me, that's the same. Yep, same here. I love Waze.
I love Waze. It's all current.
Yes, and I like that interface. I like the way the maps display. They're very easy to read. That's one nice thing about maps.
It's also nice how much they've updated them in the sense of showing the speed limit and how fast you're going and whatnot. And they've got all kinds of notifications now.
Yeah. Now, there are still places up here in the mountains where Waze, you lose it. There's not enough reception, and it goes away for a while, particularly out if you've heard of the Tail of the Dragon out that area. That's a dead area.
I've done that 3 times.
Yeah, it will disappear on you out there. There are some spots here and there, and fortunately, we found a way to overcome that. So.
Well, I'll fire up my Garmin when that happens. Or I guess you can download Waze in advance, so you've got it on in the memory on the phone, and it'll still work.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm an old dinosaur, so it takes a while for me to acclimate.
I'm not all that savvy myself, but Waze and the GPS, they're fairly simple. I think we'll make it through that. And
Very good.
simplicity is the name of the game. I mean, you know, when you come out with something, you want it to be like Apple, that it just works and you don't have to think about it. It's intuitive. So that's a good benchmark to set.
Apple? Really?
Eh,
I have an Android, and I started using this app Navi from Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to go back to Google Maps again because certain things didn't work on
mhm.
the route when I was coming back from Custer National Park or State Park. I lost a lot of the routes, and I didn't keep up with it. That was my number one problem that I found. So then I had to go to old school downloading maps on my phone, and I experienced that was better because there's no signal.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm on the Keystone Highway to Wyoming, and they're into Montana and no signal. And how are you supposed to know where you're going?
You have to have American Cell Tower.
Well, I had in my saddlebag, I still carried the old school maps. So
Yeah.
I just pull it out and I said, oh, okay.
Mhm.
Straight line to where I need to go.
Don't
But
want to
yeah,
take
you're right. You need still the old school maps
It doesn't hurt to have the backups, absolutely. And
because this
You know,
thing is not 100% reliable.
the advantage to the printed maps is, you know, a phone or a GPS, it shows you where you are, but it doesn't give you the context of where you are. You know, it says I'm here, but then where is here? You know, it gives you that limited area. Whereas a larger map or a paper map, it gives you the context of where am I in relation to where I want to be or what I want to see. So there's definitely an area for both.
And it's up to us, the old people, to teach these younger people how to read maps.
Absolutely.
I still need to be taught how to read the map.
Google, which
Sandra.
bought Waze, and I still can't figure out if Waze is better than Google Maps or not, but I like Waze well enough, I'm using it.
The same maps at the
Absolutely.
back end.
I'm not using Google Maps. I'm using Garmin. And I cannot imagine that Harley Davidson have really an own app, Emilio. Poor guy. I'm sorry.
A question about that with the relationship between the paper and the GPS maps, Wayne. Have you thought about, is there a way to index the GPS maps you're working on in app with your paper maps that you already sell? You can kind of cross brand.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. That's part of what will be happening.
But I think the good thing is, and this is what I really miss, the map I'm using for planning a route. You know, when I'm using the navigation system and I can tell him I want to go from A over B to C, then he gives me maybe the best routes. But what I not know is, and that makes me crazy when I came over here, what is in this area, what I can visit, what's nice to see as a, point. And this is what I like at your thing, that, even if I have an electronic thing, that gives me the point of interest in the middle, and I can plan my route so much better on the easiest way. And I can be sure it's something made for motorcycles.
Yes. It is difficult to locate those little back roads, those little out of the way things. Yeah. And you'll find that Google and other stuff is not always as up to date as it could be, or it's showing something that may have existed 100 years ago. And it's somehow legacy.
I had a Garmin set for take me the shortest route from Colorado through Nebraska and into Illinois, and I wanted to go to Lincoln's Log Cabin in Illinois. And I said, take me the shortest route. Holy mackerel, this thing took me through a cornfield on a 2-lane dirt trail and 12 feet high. And I thought, why am I doing this on a motorcycle?
Yeah, there are some legacy things in there that really it's hard to get rid of them. I don't bother. It's too involved to do Google's work for them. But for example, right, They show a road going over the mountain behind my house. Trust me, you couldn't even walk that. There's no hint of a road there, but if you look on Google, it's going to show you that little tiny little faint track that you might be led down. And I've been out there and looked for it. And that's the other advantage to what I do is I actually get out and I ride everything that's on the map. So I make sure it's actually there and actually is as good as it looks. Just because you see a squiggly line on the map doesn't mean it's a good motorcycle ride. It may not be quite what you're looking for. It may not be there. It may be private land, or it may be somebody's driveway. You just never know. You really have to go out and look at everything. And particularly with the off-road maps, they take forever to do because you have to put your wheel down every little side trail there is and see if it goes somewhere. It's very frustrating at times. A lot of long hours on the road, hitting dead ends, turning around, getting into all kinds of interesting situations.
You don't want to be on your big 1,200-pound bike and think you're on a trailster.
For the trail work, I have a 650 that I take out when I ride alone, doing that kind of stuff because it's very light and I can pick it up most of the time. And it's been in some pretty precarious spots. Most of the time, though, I like the comfort of the big bike. It's a lot nicer.
Well, like one of the benefits of the Rotary International Motorcycling Rotarians is we get these emails from all around the world, and I got a couple from India, and they have these little tiny, they're not much bigger than a large wheeled scooter, and these Indians will have two people on that scooter with a couple of kids on the back. They'll have boxes piled up 4 feet high and stuff strapped across the handlebars, and they're going on a trail that a Sherpa wouldn't walk.
You know it.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, and I don't think you want to end up there either.
So Wayne, when you go out in the sticks, do you carry something like a spot or some kind of satellite notifier? What do you
I do. Unfortunately, I have not ever had to use it. It's there just in case, but almost all of the mapping riding I do, both on and off-road, I do all solo, largely because it's so boring that nobody wants, if you come with me, you're not going to have any fun. It's work. It really is. And being out on the road, time is money, and that money adds up pretty quick. So literally when the sun comes up, I'm hitting the road, and I have my coffee and I eat as much as I can, and I don't stop until the sun goes down. And there's no breakfast, there's no lunch, there's no stops outside to take notes while I'm out on the road. So it really is, it's kind of grueling, but being out there, time is money, and all that adds up, so you make the most of it.
Must be rough not having ice cream sandwiches.
No.
So
I
what is
love
it
that you said
carry?
this business happened by accident. It's like that's the only way to do it. Anybody who goes into motorcycling for money is a fool.
Yeah, I think so, for the most part.
So what is it you carry?
I carry some water and a couple
No, I'm
of power
talking about
bars.
the satellite notifier.
It is I think it's one of the older Garmin units.
Okay. All
One
right.
of the big ones. The trip I was just on, the guy had one that was, it was, that big, tiny little thing, a track unit or something.
Pretty
And
soon
I'm
it'll be
like,
a
wow, it's this is a third the size of what I'm carrying now, but
So
hopefully what I have works when I need it.
Can you talk a little bit about the off-road maps?
Yes, absolutely. I've mapped the area mostly around the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, because that's where most everybody is coming to. North, south, east, and west side of that. There are some good roads in the park itself, as well as a lot of good forest roads in the surrounding area, because a lot of our area up here is national forest. You have the Pisgah National Forest, Nantahala National Forest. As you get to the west side of the Smoky Mountains National Park, out near the Dragon and the Chirahala area, that whole area is laced with forest roads for the most part. There's very little single track road. Most of that takes you onto private land, and some people sneak onto it, but I'm not going to put it on a map because it'll get you into trouble. The other big area that I've mapped that is also very rich in roads is the Northeast Georgia area, Helen, Suches, that area. And there are probably close to 100 good roads down there as well. Now, most of these you can do on most any bike. There are a few that are technically challenging, and all of them are going to throw something at you. You know, you're going to hit some rough spots or some really great water crossings. In fact, there's one where you literally go out into the river, drive up the river for a while, and then go over to the other side. It's pretty impressive. Lots of streams and rivers and creek crossings. Not a whole lot of single track stuff that you're going to get really into trouble on.
But you walk it before you cross.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets a little deep.
But the
I have submerged the bike once.
But the GSA is pretty high one, so you don't have to be worried about that.
Yeah, it does fairly well. It does fairly well.
Great. What a great job.
Absolutely. So if you're coming out this area looking for places to stay, I would recommend that you head for the south side of Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Bryson City, Maggie Valley area, Waynesville, even Deals Gap, although once you get out towards that area, you're getting a little remote as far as finding restaurants and beverages and things like that. The north side of the Smokies is it's a bit congested to me. We kind of call it the Las Vegas of the mountains. You've got Pigeon Forge and Sevierville and that area over there.
Gatlinburg.
Gatlinburg, yeah, and it's just a zoo over there. It's very congested.
The Highlands.
Highlands is a good area, absolutely. It's a little expensive down there, a little bit more remote, but Highlands is nice. Cashers, that area.
We've always stayed in Townsend.
Townsend is good. Of course, once again, Townsend's a little busy for me. I like the more out of the way area. Yeah, Townsend's crowded. I like the
main drag, maybe.
Yeah. But there's some decent stuff there, and there are some good roads. One of my maps, I spent the winter over there looking for the best ways to pass through that entire north side of the park and stay away from all the traffic and everything. One of the little roads comes actually right out in the back parking lot of Dollywood, and you wouldn't even see it from the parking lot if you didn't know to look for it.
Cool. Nice. Really cool. Are you in Rotarian, Wayne?
No, I am not. I know very little about you guys.
Maybe you would like to join our club, right?
Maybe I will look into that.
I feel bad because I got kind of out of the habit of asking people if they were Rotarians. That should have been my first question. Darn it! So you gotta keep me honest here.
Working all together, this is not a problem. But what I mean is, because you see so many people, they can, share what you're doing because of the hobby, what everybody, bring us together. So I think it would be a good resource and a good networking as well for you. So.
Well, I will look into that. Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate that.
Well,
and
absolutely.
You're international?
We are. So that's what I was gonna go into the spiel. I was gonna pretend like I knew it all, but I was actually reading off of the website. We are an international organization, quite large. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. This is when Indian John typically pops in and reminds me of all the actual numbers. But
I think it's 1.2 million.
About 1.2 million or so.
That's a pretty big network.
Yeah, we are very large. So our club, I should have started there. Our club is across the United States and Canada and Mexico. We have a couple members in Mexico and one in Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
We are truly coast to coast from Clark in Nova Scotia to Linda, pretty much on the Canadian Washington border out on that side. And then all the way down to, I'm going to say that Tom Dines might be the farthest south for right now. He's in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the way up, lots of Canadians actually, because of our Rotary district is actually headquarters is up near Detroit, Michigan. So we've got that district that covers Detroit, outside of Detroit, and then some of the Ontario area. So that's our club. And Jerry Jackson brought us all together 3 years ago because we were either motorcycling people who actually do ride or people who have ridden or people who love people who ride. So that's our common ground. We're one of the first e-clubs. I think we are the first e-club in our district. So one of the first e-clubs internationally too, though, which is cool.
And the other thing is we have an international convention coming up in 2022 in Houston, Texas. So, and because I'm very close to the chair of the host event, because it's my husband, we want to make something special for motorcycle people as well. So we will, I will looking for some hotels special for the people. So the Houston area, honestly, is not really interesting for motorcycle. It's too hot right now, definitely. But I'm sure you heard from the hill country, for Bend as well. So here is a big, also from the IFMR, this is a fellowship of the motorcycle Rotarians. A lot of over here, so we'll find them, and this is a very nice one. It doesn't matter where I'm going with the bike, I can find somebody everywhere. And they're very, it's like a big family, you can say. Yeah.
Very good. That sounds wonderful.
Yep, and so at Rotaries, our big claim to fame is polio eradication, right? We've been at the forefront of making sure that vaccines get out. This is where John definitely steps in and tells me how many countries we have left. I think, where is it, Pakistan and Afghanistan that are left? Is it 3 now, Don? Or Emilio? Don. Emilio, Don. 3 countries left.
I know only 3.
Yeah, I think it's Pakistan, Afghanistan, and then there's another one. But
I think it's just 2.
There's just 2. Nigeria was just taken off the list, so it's just 2.
Just 2.
So it's just 2 now.
Yeah, just 2. So we
Nigeria was still
spearheaded the push to get the polio vaccine out worldwide, and really Rotary has been at the forefront of making sure that continues, so that we, unfortunately it doesn't disappear if we just stop doing vaccines. So we do that. We have 6.5, 7 primary goals, which are promoting peace, fighting disease, clean water and sanitation, saving mothers and children, supporting education, growing local economies. And they haven't officially added it yet, but I believe John told me that they are officially adding
Environment
as one of ours.
Somebody was listening.
It is an official area of focus.
Very good.
I'm totally cheating. I'm reading it.
Don't forget the new emergency disaster fund.
That's why I usually wear my glasses so you guys can't see me looking over at the other screen. But yeah, so that's who we are, Wayne. I'm sorry, I should have started with that. John, go ahead.
Amanda, environment is the 7th area of focus. You just cannot apply for it till the 1st of July next year.
Got it.
They're still trying to figure out the guidelines.
Cool. So what we do, Wayne, is we apply for grants through Rotary International. They'll match funds that we raise on our side. So we will be, our club will be putting together something shortly here. I believe our push this next couple of years is going to be towards saving mothers and children, with UTA organizing what I think is going to end up being a fundraising ride in Houston for the convention to help raise funds for a women and children's shelter. So.
Awesome.
So that's who we are. And I'm sorry, I should have started there.
That's all right. I will follow up with you on that after the meeting.
That would be fantastic.
Wayne, you can tell we're not at all any fun.
So Wayne, when do you think you can come and demonstrate your digital product?
I've been making promises about that so often that I'm not making them anymore. We were supposed to launch in May, and unfortunately the pandemic hit and shut everything down. And to launch, we need to have a big thing out on the road. And we just have, my partner has some health concerns about traveling right now. And until things straighten out, we're kind of just sitting on things, but there's going to be some kind of a release soon. We can't wait any longer. It's time.
Well, Wayne, for sure, reach out if that's something that you want to get planned, because as Uta said, we have 50 members. We're 50 members strong in our club, associate and active members. And then we are all part of the International Fellowship of Motorcycling Rotarians, like Uta said, which is a significantly larger number of people. And I think Jerry probably knows the number in the US, as I think you're the president this year, right?
About
So-
another 300.
Yeah, so we've got a fairly large number. So if that's something you wanted to work with us to organize, we'd be more than happy to.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I look forward to that. Like I say, let's follow up after the meeting, Amanda, and to
Yes,
connect
sir.
and see what we can do going forward. You guys sound great. I like
And
it.
I think a good forum for you would be also the International Convention in Houston, because we will have a booth over there for the fellowship and for the club. So whatever you want to share about that, you can share there. And we
Especially if you're a Rotarian by then.
Yes, and we are expecting in Houston 26,000 visitors for the convention. Only that
Wow.
we have an idea what is going on.
Well,
Hey,
that's
Wayne, I have a special deal for you. If you can make it up to Bristol first thing in the morning, you can show two of us some of your routes.
That'd be, I don't know about the morning. I'm looking forward to take a little break. I've been kind of going gangbusters since I got back from Colorado. Tomorrow, I'm just trying to take a day off.
Where are you at, Wayne?
Waynesville, North Carolina. So I am about 30
I
minutes
might drop
west
in.
of
Pretty area.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area.
Hey, Wayne, if I send an email to the info@America Rides Maps, does that go to you?
Absolutely. I'm it, man. I'm,
All right,
I'm
that's what I
American
thought.
Ride Maps. It comes right to me.
I'm just an hour south from you. I'm in Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, wonderful.
I go up to Brevard, up to Cashier,
Uh-huh.
and and all the time.
Oh, I've been down to Greenville many times. I used to get one of my bikes serviced down there, and I've been over to the BMW Motorcycle Academy many times. And yeah, you're close.
Very close. I love going up there,
Well,
especially at the Pisgah National Park where they have the restaurant on Sunday.
oh yeah,
It's open right now, but you can.
it is open, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. But I haven't been since they closed it. They're
Yeah.
a couple months. So
Well, please, it's been absolutely wonderful to get to know you all, and Amanda, we will follow up after this.
Yes.
And you have my email, and literally that's my cell phone number right there. It's in my pocket all the time. So
Perfect.
you need to get in touch with me. I'm here for you, and always glad to, if you need to know, where's a good place to stay when I'm going here, or where would you recommend this, or I'm going here, is there a good road I should see there? I'm here for you.
That's awesome. Thanks again, Wayne. We really appreciate having you tonight.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Yeah. And hey, we would have never known that this was your first Zooming.
Well, good.
Never. That was better than I usually do, and I do this stuff every day.
Well, thank you very much. I assume I just got lucky.
I don't think so. Don't ever say that. You just
Okay.
keep the expectations real high.
There we go. Well, thank you all. It was very good to meet everyone, and I look forward to getting better in touch with you afterwards.
Likewise, Wayne. I'll send an email shortly here.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Wayne out.
Thanks, Wayne.
See you guys later. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
So John, are you in Bristol?
Yeah, Jerry and I are Bristol. We've had, 3 days of riding now, and just been having a good time, cracking jokes and enjoying such beautiful scenery.
Oh yeah, it's
Right.
nice up there.
We're gonna ride the snake tomorrow.
you're gonna ride this deck tomorrow? Oh my gosh,
First thing in
Very
the morning.
nice.
it's gonna be raining.
I couldn't talk John into it tonight.
Ah,
That's because John's a wimp.
Well, don't get too far ahead of John on that gold wing.
Well, we're gonna ride the snake tomorrow. Actually, I've outridden Bob Schreiner on the snake, so
With John's new haircut, he looks aerodynamic.
Did you cut it all down?
I will share a little secret. John's been keeping me in front on this entire trip. He does not want to have a GPS incident.
Our GPSs do two different things.
I know that part.
I have to tell you guys, we decided we didn't want to take the highways all the way to Louisville last weekend, so we let the Waze take us a couple ways, and it took us through this section of West Virginia that, mind you, I drive a Wrangler. It's not a sports car. The turns that we had to go through in this area near Romney was It was beautiful, and I would highly recommend it for a ride. But
Was it paved?
No, not even.
what's that?
Was it paved?
Oh yeah, it was paved. I mean, and the funny thing is, so they are. Yeah, they've routed traffic. They've routed traffic onto this because they're in the process of building the highway. Do you know where I'm talking about, Emilio?
Yeah, I rode through there.
Oh my God, it was beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous. But I was like, it was raining and there were trucks, and I was like, what are we doing? It was really pretty.
Very narrow road.
Very narrow, yeah.
What's it called? I want to look it up.
Let me ask my husband. He's the map guy. Hey, Mike. Do you remember what the road was that we took in West Virginia where we thought we were going to have civilization? What was it between? No, on the way out. What was the town we stayed in?
Have it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at a map.
All right.
He actually put it. We were trying to track it on the atlas and couldn't find the road. So there you go. Try to look at an atlas to figure out where you are, and it was not on there.
Did you hear banjos playing?
Well, actually, so I have to tell you, it was gorgeous. Like the beautiful rivers that ran through there. It might have been the same river that we crossed 46 times. It's possible, but it was beautiful.
Amanda, about where was it?
That's what I'm trying to look up my hotel reservation to see where we stayed.
You know, it looked like one of those Kentucky haulers that they call it.
Yeah, so we went
up and then down in West Virginia.
It might have been 33, so near Weston.
Probably.
Oh, I've ridden 33 several times. That's nice out there.
It was beautiful, but I think what it is it looked like near Buchanan, or Buchanan, probably how they pronounce it, near Weston. They're building an overpass because they're going to take the highway through there. So they have recently paved that whole section of road, and it's beautiful. So, because I think that they are routing people that way because the highway's not done. But yeah, that whole ride was beautiful. Much better on a bike, like I said, than in a Wrangler.
We came south out of Akron, Ohio area yesterday on 800, Ohio 800, all the way down to Fly, Ohio. That was a beautiful route. It really was.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we were riding up from, we're getting to a place called Florence, Kentucky, and it routed us through there to get there on the bikes. So that's why I was like thinking, oh man, what is this road? Doesn't look right. It was.
John and I are splitting up probably about noon tomorrow, and I'm going to do some cutting up through at angles up through Tennessee and Kentucky and do some exploring.
Well, you might come across that road for sure. You're going to go down that way.
Buy some whiskey.
What's that?
Buy some whiskey.
I have the unfortunate situation of my bike going in the shop. I think they were teenage kids, knocked it over off the kickstand, and it hit the foot peg, which broke the metal housing, which busted the brake for the rear brake. And it's going to be a $500 bill to get everything fixed. And of course, whoever tipped it over didn't leave a note or a message or anything. Really aggravating.
That's horrible.
You know, that's covered under vandalism if you have the right policy.
Well, I might have to give them a call, but I think my deductible is high enough that,
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Vandalism is usually zero deductible. Vandalism's usually a zero deductible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Under your comprehensive deductible, yep.
Not on all states. It's a state by state.
Yeah, but just about all the motorcycle insurance is all subbed out of either Progressive or Geico.
Yeah, this is Progressive, I think.
Progressive. And it's in Florida, right, Tom?
I have all states.
Is yours?
Yeah,
I'll check on that. I forgot all about that. Progressive, I think.
With Allstate, we usually, if it's vandalism, it's going to be a $250 or $500 deductible. Zero deductible, in very few cases, depending on it. But if it's Florida, I definitely would check. because
the
they
parts
yeah.
alone are $367, and I'll bet it's going to be another hour and a half labor. So it's going to be a $400 or $500 bill real fast.
Hey, Tom, before Emilio checks, is your policy written out of Florida or Colorado?
This one's Florida.
Okay.
Florida. Let me check Florida.
Well, you know, Tom, it doesn't cost anything to make a phone call to your agent and find out.
Yep.
That's true. Although I used to own an all-state insurance agency, and these dadgum agencies, I don't care if you're Allstate, if you're Progressive, if you're State Farm, you make a claim and that goes on your record, and they'll tell you they won't, adjust your rates.
Yeah.
Baloney. They do.
Correct. Yes.
Well, but I mean, you don't have to make a claim, just a phone call to find out whether it would be covered in zero deductible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I suppose I ought to do that.
Actually, one of the things I have found is that people don't understand what is actually covered by their insurance, and maybe that's a future meeting topic.
Good point. Emilio, I call on you.
Yes.
I think you're the only.
No, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So what's the question again? I'm sorry.
Deb was saying that a lot of people don't understand what's covered by their insurance, and maybe it would be a good meeting topic if there's a.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, if we can do a meeting, I can give you a national overview on what captive companies do and non-captives do, like Progressive, Geico, and then us. I'm a captive Allstate agency, and with Allstate, we say that we want you to have OEM products in your motorcycle. So if you own a Harley, we want you to have Harley parts or BMW parts or Suzuki parts or Yamaha parts, but not aftermarket parts like other companies. That's the biggest claim for Allstate. And then other situations are to see how broad is the coverage in each state, especially in Michigan. Like Michigan is and Florida are non-fault states. So, and then some of them, like the old policies in Michigan, they didn't have a limit in medical payments, if you can believe that, and that is being changed. So now there is, because of that tort that has passed, you actually have limits. Same thing in Florida, that's how it was, but not anymore. So there are so many limitations, and there are so many changes state per state. However,
half my parts on my motorcycle are aftermarket additives.
Right, exactly. But that's different. That we call it custom parts.
Yeah, Honda doesn't make them.
Right, exactly. Because like I added a tour pack to my bike, but it's specifically for a Road King Classic tour pack. So it's the leather cover and everything. But since I added, didn't come with it, is a custom part. That if something happened, they'll have to pay me for that part. So what I suggest is to make an inventory of all the parts that you add. You know, if you added new fairings because they weren't the original ones, because you added a new windshield because wasn't the original one, any part that you add to have an inventory, because when the time comes for a loss, you'll have to prove to the adjuster that indeed you purchased those for a certain amount, and you can get reimbursed for that for the actual cash value of it. That's another thing, actual cash value, not replacement. So that's just some of the minutiae of the insurance world, and especially for motorcycles. Since I own a motorcycle, usually I get a lot of people that call me about it because they don't know, and then I tell them, okay, how is the motorcycle came? And then did you add this? Did you have your GPS? Like people, GPSs for motorcycles specifically, the ones from the dealer are expensive. They are not $100. They are like $700, the Navis. So those things that you may want to know.
And then you have Garmin, who makes Motorrad, but they don't.
Yeah.
After it's about 12 years old, they won't even update it.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. So all those things, I think it's a very important topic for all of us,
Well, Don, I'm gonna keep calling you Don. You need to take Dona Lista out of your
Dona
name,
Carlista.
Emilio.
I will.
Emilio. We have a bunch of open dates in December. If you want to, we can.
Yeah, give me a date and then I'll put something together. Absolutely.
Good. Perfect. Thank you. Well,
Good.
hey, that was very productive. 2 dates in December.
Mhm.
Probably the first week in December.
Okay, it's yours.
So let me look, because after the 15th of December, I'm MIA. So we look in November, December.
I say after the 15th of December, any meetings we have should be eggnog involved. And
December 2nd's taken, so you could have the second or third week, otherwise January.
And
we
9,
can wait till January.
or do you want to do in January? Let's do January and start the year with that. Then
January.
I'll have something prepared.
We can talk all about what happens if you drop your bike on an icy parking lot.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, we're dropping like flies, so let's go ahead and end the meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys, and thank you to, did he fall off already? I was gonna say thanks to Jim Dodmead for setting this up tonight, but he's gone already. So, let's see. Jerry Jackson, would you like to lead us in the four-way test?
Four-way test of things we say, think, or do. First, is it the
Is
truth?
it the truth?
Second, is it fair to all
Fair to
concerned?
all concerned?
Third, will it build goodwill
Goodwill
and better friendships?
friendships.
Fourth, was it beneficial to all
Beneficial to all
concerned?
concerned.
And fifth, will anybody find, it's fun.
Will there be beer? Wait.
Sixth, will anybody
Great
find
meeting,
out?
folks. See everybody next
All right.
week.
Thank you guys. Have a
Bye-bye.
fantastic week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.